Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins, and you guys know I'm a finance professor, and I want to make sure everybody knows that, not because I'm bragging, but because I think it's important to know that you're getting your information from a scientific space and not just somebody sharing just an opinion. I wanted to talk about black churches. Black churches. I was just speaking with Julian Gordon, a friend of mine, about the role of the black church in economic prosperity for black people, and one of the challenges that I've heard people have with black churches is they feel that black churches do not do their share when it comes to developing the black community. That they receive billions of dollars a year and nothing good comes out of that, and that all that money kind of goes to waste. I don't believe that. I think even though we know that there are some trifling churches out here, I think the black church is actually a place where there's a tremendous amount of opportunity for a level of economic mobilization that would be really difficult almost anywhere else. So let me just kind of break down real quick what I share with Julian in terms of what I think black churches can do and the role that the church can play in prosperity for black people. I'm about to interview Dr. Claude Anderson, the expert on powernomics, and I'm going to ask him about black churches as well. But I just thought I would share this thought really quick before I move on. Here's the deal. To build an economy, you pretty much need at least three important things. You need producers, you need consumers, and you need a bank. Producers, consumers, and a bank, right? The producers produce the products, the consumers buy the products, and also the producers have the secondary role of employing the people that are going to become the consumers. And also the bank, it basically extends credit so that the economy can grow. Without banks, the economy constricts because nobody's allowed to give anybody an IOU, or it's very difficult to do, and you're not able to really expand. So if you think about it, a church can be all three of those things. A black church can be the producer of products. They have if you train everyone in your church on how to start a business, then you can produce all the products that you need, or a big chunk of the products that you need, and divert millions of dollars away from other businesses that are producing those products, serving that congregation, and that money can actually come back into the church. I knew of a church that actually put a little restaurant and coffee shop right there in the church. Well, now people don't go across the street to get coffee and food; they just eat in the church. The consumers are right there in your congregation. Your congregation shows up every week. They've got jobs. They've got money. They'll buy products if the products are good. So you got to find out what your customers want. And then the bank, the church can actually be the bank. Now, what does that mean? Well, banks basically are almost like the same way universities operate, in the sense that they have an endowment. An endowment is a pile of resources you have that can be put to work for various reasons. So you have capital, you can invest that capital in a lot of different ways. When you make a loan, banks don't make loans for their health or for fun. They make loans because they're deploying their capital. They're putting their money to work. They're expecting a return on their investment. So a church that has a big endowment, let's say a church is sitting on 20 million that is stacked up in resources, in real estate, stocks and bonds, and cash. Well, that church can actually function a little bit like a bank. They can loan money to small businesses for members of the congregation. They can actually loan people money to buy their first home, or their second home, or their third home. They can do business partnerships with people. They can make all kinds of investments with that capital base, and they can also provide funding necessary for additional businesses to be created, for producers to expand their production capacity, etc., and even for consumers to expand their spending capacity. That's another area where banks actually step in. Banks don't just function on the producer side; they also function on the consumer side. That's where credit cards come from, and things like that. So, long story short, churches can be economies by themselves. Black churches have the ability to literally form closed loop economies that lead to the prosperity of all the people within that church. But in order for that to happen, there must be a clear understanding of what an economy looks like. In the Black Business School, one of the fundamental principles that we teach in the Black Business School, and I teach in my investment classes, is how to form an economy, what that looks like. And the reason that's important is because what has to happen in this generation for Black people is that we must engage in what I call the great diversion of wealth. you have to be able to divert some of that 1.3 trillion that's flowing out of the black community and keep it in house. So what does that mean? Well, out of that 1.3 trillion, let's say 1.2 trillion or more of that money is going out to people who are not black, people who don't contribute to the black economy. So that money's going out. Why? Well, because black consumers are buying all the things they need from people who are not black, so that money flows out, it never comes back. That's why the community ends up poor and broke. So what if you had as many producers in the black community as you have consumers? Well, if that's the case, then that money can divert itself back into the black community. You can start buying black, or you buy products from black businesses. Black businesses then have the obligation to hire black people so that these consumers are ultimately able to leave the broader economy and come to the black economy and to be a part of that ecosystem that allows that money to flow. So, long story short, churches can be an important part of this. This is one of the reasons why in my podcast on the Black Financial Channel, you don't really see me diss churches that often, even though there's room to criticize church. There's room to talk about a lot of the crazy things that happen in our churches. But I believe that there's hope in the black church. I believe that churches are different. I believe that to some extent it's a matter of educating churches so that they can understand how important their role is and how they can fulfill that role. And I believe that there are a lot of people who go to church or run churches who want to be part of the black economic revolution. So that's my 2 cents. And I'm sticking to it, and that's my analysis of what it's going to take to build a stronger black economy. Because remember, at the end of the day, black people don't have a strong support base. We don't have any real economic friends. Everybody wants to take from black people, but nobody wants to give anything back. But we have everything we need right here in our community. It's just important for us to know that. So if you'd like to learn more about investing, things like that, or how to buy your first share of stock, feel free to go to firstshareofstock.com. That's firstshareofstock.com. There's a free training on how to buy your first share of stock at firstshareofstock.com. And also, I have a stock market investing program at theblackstockmarketprogram.com, THE. That's theblackstockmarketprogram.com. So feel free to go take a look at that. I'll see you guys soon. I'm going to go meet with Dr. Claude Anderson right now, and you guys have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.